Hello, Front Street. Welcome to the table. It's Jay again today. Normally I'm on that side of the camera, but Ray and Stefan are away, and so I'm filling in. I hope that's all right with you. We're actually at my table today. This is a table in the French country style that my father-in-law built for our family. The first table ended, it's 8 feet long going that way, and it ended here, and my father-in-law noticed how we had people over for dinner and loved it, and so he built it 4 feet longer for us. It's kind of cool. We're continuing to talk about generosity. It seems to be a theme that is understated, undershared in the life of the church in particular. The church talks about giving. It can't move forward and share Christ with people without giving. But generosity is a subject that is even deeper and even richer and thrives. I think of 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 9, for we know the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, who, though he was rich, yet for our sakes became poor, that we, through his poverty, might become rich. We're invited to an abundant life of generosity. Underneath all of it in the Christian journey, we are invited to be people who are blessed to be a blessing. I'm not a huge fan. It's okay. I don't want to say anything negative about anyone or any group of people, but I'm not a huge fan of saying I'm blessed because God's blessings were never intended to end with me. They're intended, I might be blessed so that I might be a blessing. We might be blessed so that we might be a blessing. That's a big so that. But Jesus is inviting us to be like him, blessed to be a blessing. Recently, I've had the chance to film Stefan interviewing a young couple of Fogelmans who are missionaries in another part of the world, over in Albania. And one of the ways they've chosen to reach out in their community, one of the ways they've chosen to be a blessing is to bring some of their favorite food to another part of the world. Isn't that an interesting way that they've chosen to actually reach out to be a blessing in their world, that others might see their good works and praise their Father in heaven? Isn't that an interesting thought? So I wonder if you had the chance to be a blessing by taking food into a community, what kind of place would you open up? In my travels today, the place I picked that would be really, really fun, I picked a place that has reimagined a chicken biscuit. This is a chicken biscuit with fried green tomatoes and honey butter on it. Look at this. Look at this big sandwich. Now that's great. Now that is fantastic. A reimagined chicken biscuit. Look at that. Have you ever seen something so, that looks awesome. I'm glad that some have reimagined how they might use food to be a blessing into community, to make life even more vibrant and more joyful. That's one of the gifts of the table, is that there's food that makes life more enjoyable. So let's listen today to Stefan and the Fogelmans share the story of how they are trying to share Christ in another part of the world, and food is a big part of it.
I am here with Mark and Kinsey Fogelman, who are missionaries long-term in Kenya and for 6 years.
6.
And then Albania is where you are now. And you've been there for 2 years, 3 years?
2.5.
2.5 years. We were just talking at the 11 o'clock service on what makes a modern missionary, and you guys are hitting that really well, because I said the thing that you're working with right now wonderfully is barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just jump right in there. You started a barbecue restaurant in Albania.
Yeah.
Why? What? All the questions.
And I feel like we asked those questions to God a few times before actually doing it, but we continued to feel like he was leading us that direction. And by us, I say our team.
Yeah.
We're working with 2 other families there who have been there longer than us, and they helped us to settle in. They helped us to get to know people they're continuing to do so.
Sure.
But the barbecue and the gathering place was begun by a prayer of creating a space that was unique, a space that was welcoming to the community, a space where we can share lives together and get to know their story, and we get to share the greatest story of all time with people, and have great meals and learn more about them and how we can, as a body of Christ, love on them better. So yeah.
I would add to that it was a moment of our team coming together saying, what can we offer? What do we have? What our resources or tools or giftings that we have to do this together. And so one of our teammates being a great smoker of meats of all kinds, and some of us who love more of the relational side sitting at the table. And so we all kind of have our place within of how we work together to serve this community that we're in.
Do you feel like it's easier starting a barbecue restaurant in a place that you don't have a whole lot of barbecue competition, as opposed to here in North Carolina, there's one on every corner? Was that a helpful thing?
I think so. I think having something unique definitely draws a crowd, new relationships, but also, like, even when we're not open, it took a good 9 months to kind of renovate this tiny little place. And we could be frustrated by how long it took, but it was actually a good thing getting to know the people in the community. They saw us day in and day out, even before we opened up. And so I think the place was unique, the food is unique, but the point of it is to get to know people, and that's already started to happen. So yeah.
Well, I want to dive into a little bit, because okay, you've got somebody who smokes meats and loves to do that, is really good at that. Once you hear that, how many more things did you need to see fall in place before you said, oh gosh, we're making a barbecue restaurant? Like, is that all it took, was just one person to really start that conversation? Or was there another piece that fell into place that said, oh, this really is what we're doing?
Yeah, I think it was a mix of different ideas of, we got the space, and then it was like, what can we do with this? And so a ton of different ideas went out of, I mean, it's a small little spot. And so just throwing out ideas and seeing what flows and praying over them. And we all just kind of felt a big piece about the barbecue thing. And nothing brings people together more than food. And so,
And I'll add, like, the choice or choosing where we were to go came from even previous work that the other families had done. So one of our other teammates, he's a mechanic, and he's been working with a local young man to set up his own mechanic shop. And so we were over there to help clean and get it almost open. And while we were over there cleaning, Ano showed us the spot, and we were like, hey, maybe this is a good spot for a barbecue place. So it was also, the heart behind of it too was to be there in his area, support him, a local believer, young, new business, and just to be there for his family and the business and all of that. So that was also the heart behind why we chose where we chose. So
it's really awesome.
Yeah.
It's endearing seeing some of that creativity come out in a place that, you don't have as many models to repeat off of as we do here in the States. And I think sometimes for us as Christians, our creativity can still be bounded by the world around us, by our community. But you guys really took some big leaps and bounds in there to be creative with a barbecue restaurant.
Yeah.
So how long has it been open now?
Let's see.
Since April?
April is when we opened the doors.
Gosh, it's new.
Yeah.
Right after Ramadan. It's a
there we go.
It's a Muslim majority country, and we didn't want to open up during fasting. So, we kind of waited till the end of Ramadan.
That was kind of you.
It's in the heart of the neighbor on the corner, in the spirit of a little girl's eyes, in the hello from a stranger at the grocer, in the people passing by. There's a joy I feel when you reveal. How colorful the many ways you meet us. Can't believe the places that we Jesus.
What have you seen over the last couple of months of people coming in and out of that space, and you're creating, it's called the gathering place also, that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
And so do you see any of those stories kind of come out as people walk into a brand new thing? It's new to their culture, it's old hat to you. Is there any surprising stories that you've seen over the last couple of months through that?
I think something I think is really cool is we saw there were some friends of ours who brought some of their friends in who live in the neighborhood,
Yeah.
and they're believers, and they know a lot of people in the community, and so they come by at least once a week with some different friends and just sit and hang out and talk with them and introduce them to us. And every day is different there. Some days we're really busy on the food side, and some days we're really busy on the relational side.
Yeah.
And so it's cool to see even locals just engaging in that space and using it to invite friends into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just add to that. A lot of the ministry, quote unquote ministry, that's taking place there is not necessarily initiated from us, but from creating a space where believers can invite their neighbors, and God's doing something that we might not even know about.
Yeah.
But not just always us, creating a space and doing things for people, but creating a space that is prayed over, and that we sit at a table and invite Jesus to have a meal with us as we get to know people. There's one young man who is a Muslim who works up the street from us, and he knows what we serve and how we serve it. And some things he chooses not to eat, and some things he doesn't. But one comment he made was like, "You guys are always so kind and welcoming." And so he'll come and he'll eat what he chooses to eat. But what struck me and continues to strike me is he comes back because he feels like there's something different about us. And so that's the prayer, is that they see Jesus and not us in anything that we do.
So I wonder how the Fogelman story has struck you. To be honest, most of us think that we already are pretty generous. But I wonder if maybe we're not quite as generous as we'd like to think we are. And I wonder if we could be more generous. I wonder if life around us could be richer and richer and richer. I wonder if we could be the kind of people that give in a way where we're seen as generous people. Not just as the people who are Christians, but who are generous. Because think about who your favorite people are in the world. Honestly, they're the generous people, right? Well, I'm going to finish my chicken biscuit here, but I want to leave you with this. May you know the joy of Jesus as it is expressed in overwhelming, extravagant generosity to all of those he encountered. Thanks for joining us at the table this week. If there are people you think would be encouraged by this, take a moment to like this video. If you take the time to figure out how to like this video, more people will have a chance to see it. It will get pushed out to more people. So take a moment to like it. And if there's somebody in your life that you can think of that you think this would be fun or meaningful for them to see, email it to them. Just text it to them. Share it with them. Thank you. And we'll see you again next week at the table.
Everything, you're all